What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday edition of Daily Betslip, December 2nd, 2022. To all those that just sweat out the World Cup this afternoon, group stage is wrapping up. To those sweating out at the moment, Akron, Buffalo, rescheduled game from a blizzard a few weeks ago. Happy Friday. We're here to have some fun. I'm your host, Reed Wallach. Alongside me is Donnavan Smoot. Donovan, I know the matches that were like the late slate is wrapping up now. So what is the latest World Cup developments? Anything crazy happened like yesterday when Spain and Germany and Korea, I don't know soccer, so I don't know what was going on, but yesterday was anarchy in all the group chats. So did anything happen today that I guess was surprising to the masses?
Nothing really. So Brazil had already advanced. It was just a question of whether or not they were going to end up winning the group. They are going to win the group, and then we got a crazy game between Switzerland and Serbia, 3-2. Serbia's going to end up going home. They're going to leave the group with just 1 point. Switzerland is going to advance. So I think we would have needed something crazy in the last 30 seconds of stoppage time for both for Cameroon to get in there. Because they ended up beating Brazil 1-0. So, I guess that's the shock in that they gave themselves a chance. But as for the macro, nothing really crazy happened today. But the round of 16 knockout stage starts tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. I have a pick on the game. So it's about to get real fun, though.
I was going to ask, so I know there's been some shuffling from the norm in terms of who advanced, what position the people advance. Is there a side that has broken somebody's way? I know we're going to get to best bets. We're going to get community bets and a little bit our game of the night, Utah versus USC, but just a little bit of World Cup talk here with the bracket now being finalized. Knockout stage starts tomorrow. Did a certain country get a really lucky break to maybe make a run further than expected because of some of the upsets along the way? Or I guess to that question, did someone get screwed?
I don't know if anybody got screwed, but Brazil, who came into this tournament as the favorite, and they have injuries kind of all across the board right now, but they actually got lucky with their draw because in their side of the bracket, they have South Korea, who they're going to play in the round of 16. Then you have the Netherlands and the USA, and neither one of them have looked incredibly dominant. You have Japan and Croatia, same thing for them, not incredibly dominant, and then Argentina and Australia. And Argentina is the only team out of that kind of section that really poses a true threat, especially if Brazil can get healthy. And they wouldn't play Argentina until the semifinals. So there's a really good path for Brazil to get to the finals, and they could probably withstand maybe one more game of a Neymar injury. And by the time the quarters roll around, they could be getting healthy. And if listen, the crazy stuff happens in the World Cup all the time. So if upsets happen, let's say Argentina loses in the round of 16, or they lose in the quarterfinals, and now in the semifinals, you have Brazil going up against either Australia, the USA, or the Netherlands. That's gonna seem like a free ticket for Brazil to get to the finals.
We'll see. The U.S., man, we're Pulisic's going to play tomorrow. We'll see if they can beat the Dutch. Maybe we'll have a bet on that. Let's get into it, though. Let's talk some best bets, and we'll start with the community pick. We had one person chime in. If anyone has any bets in the chat, make sure to drop them in. We will hit on them during the show. But let's hear it from friend of the program, Yo-Yo Ma's cousin, Lil Nepotis. Shout out School of Rock. He says his favorite bet is to tell your bookie to keep the points. He's taking the Houston Texans on the money line, the hapless, listless Houston Texans, plus 260 to beat the resurgent Browns, who came back to beat the Bucs, much to my dismay last week. Cost me some money. Browns, though, I have an opinion on this on the hot take segment, so I'll leave my opinion for later. Donovan, any thoughts here on Lil Nepotis saying Houston Texans money line, second win of the year coming for Houston at home against former quarterback Deshaun Watson in his debut?
Yeah, I don't know, but literally as you're reading it out, Adam Schefter just tweeted that the Texans have ruled out Brandon Cooks and Derek Stingley Jr.
That's pure right there. That is just great.
So they're going to be without one of their two best receivers. They're going to be without their first round draft pick, he's already missed games, but they're not getting him back against Deshaun Watson and the Browns. So this is a tough spot, and I don't trust the Texans at all. They look solid in the last, I guess, 30 minutes against the Dolphins whenever Miami put all of their backups in. But outside of that, there's not really a lot of hope for Houston right now. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't even take the points with Houston.
Okay.
You can't trust them.
Okay, we'll see. So thank you for chiming in with the comments. Let's get to best bets though, Donovan. You have 2 plays in the association tonight, 1 play on the pitch in Qatar. Let's just do all 3. Start with the NBA and then we'll hear the World Cup bet.
I bet. So I'm going to start with the 76ers and the Grizzlies. So I'm taking the 76ers on the points. I'm taking the points there, plus 5.5 underdogs to the Grizzlies. I think that Memphis is just a little bit overrated. I think that they're getting overvalued in this spot. Memphis, they're just 5-3 against the spread at home this year. And I mean, as a home favorite, and Philly, they're 5-5 against the spread on the road. Neither of these teams are really, really good. You have Ja Morant, who's been back for a couple games now off of his injury. Same thing with Joel Embiid. But I just think that that Philly, they're going to be able to play enough defense to at least keep it close, right?
Mhm.
Philly, when they're on the road, they actually have the 4th best defensive rating in road games in the league. And so this is a Memphis team that lost to the Timberwolves in the last time out. They're 3-5 against the spread after a loss this year. I just think that 5.5 is too much. Memphis may very well win this game, but to do it by basically, I would say 3 possessions it's a bit too much for me. So I'm taking the 76ers. Also expecting a really big day from Joel Embiid in that one. So that's the first one. The second one, we're going to go to a favorite. I'm taking the Pelicans -7 against the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs, they're tanking for Victor. They are first in line to go get Wemby. They've lost 9 straight. They've covered in only one of those games, and it's not even like these have been outrageous spreads. They've been 7 or like it's not like they've had to cover against short spreads. They've been 7-8 point underdogs pretty consistently, and that's exactly what they are tonight. And so I know that the Pelicans, they're going to be without BI, they're going to be without CJ McCollum, but Zion is just too talented. Jonas Valanciunas is still there. I just think that New Orleans they're just going to have too much offense for San Antonio to keep up with. So I'll take the Pelicans -7 on the road against the Spurs tonight. And then my last play, we're going to the first game of the knockout stage. We talked about it earlier, USA Netherlands. I think this one is going to be really close. I'm not bold enough to pick USA to win, but to be honest, we're getting a little bit more value here. I think so I'm going to go with either team to win in extra time.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a really, really good one because the Netherlands, so they finished the group stage with 7 points, but they didn't look dominant in really any one of their games. They beat Senegal 2-0, but those 2 goals came in the 84th and beyond minute, and then they got a closer in stoppage time. And so you've seen them kind of been able to be caught. And so if you're Team USA, Pulisic is coming back. He's going to be able to play. You might be able to create enough chances to maybe have like a 1-1 draw going in, or maybe even a scoreless draw going into extra time. I just think that this, we've already seen this men's national team compete with England and be able to honestly put a lot of pressure on England, and they've been able to defend really well and attack. So it's not like this Netherlands team is going to be some foreign power that they've never seen. They just did it 2 games ago. So I think that they'll be able to put up a pretty good fight. And if they get it, they'll probably get it in extra time, and they might be able to push. So plus 550, a lot of value there. So
Plus
that's
550 is nice, man.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice there. If you want to just take the US straight up to win in regulation, it's plus 240. So I mean that's nice as well. But if trying to get really like that's a Raven, really like psychic on it, I'm going extra. Either team to win in extra time.
All right, I like it. I think I'm gonna have to put my patriotic hat on here and take some US. So I'm gonna have to find some way to get it. Maybe I'll take them to win in extra time. So there's Donovan's 2 plays on the hardwood, 1 play on the pitch tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, US versus Netherlands. So there's no late night game for the 4-pack. So we'll call it like a trio here, a tricycle of sorts. So starting at noon tomorrow for college football championship weekend, we are going to take Kansas State TCU under 61.5. Noon kickoff at Jerry World. These two teams have faced before and went over the total of 54.5. Now we're adjusting a touchdown. I think that this is a little bit of an overreaction. It's going to be Will Howard starting at quarterback for Kansas State. And he replaced Adrian Martinez in the TCU game and looked good, but now there's tape on him. The 3-3-5 TCU defense is built to limit explosive plays. They're top 40 EPA per rush. I think you're going to see more of a grind here. So 61.5 is just too high for me. Both teams bottom third nationally in time minutes per play. So you're going to see the clock bleeding here. Both teams can rip off explosive plays, but both defenses could also limit it. So I'll take the under 61.5 with the Big 12 championship game. My afternoon play, Coastal Carolina +8 against Troy. This number ballooned up to 10.5, and that I think was on the news that Grayson McCall, Coastal star quarterback, may not play. Then it came back down during the week through the key number of 10, back close to a touchdown. I think McCall's going to play. Based on the quotes, based on how it's trending, it looks like McCall's going to be out there. If he plays, and this line is it's crazy. I think you're going closer to like 4, maybe 3.5. Troy's good, but their offense is terrible. They're built behind a top 30 defense in the country. They have a damn good defense, best in the Sun Belt, but their offense can't win with margin against a quality team like Coastal with McCall. This is based on McCall playing, so I'm going to take a shot here on, the Chanticleers getting their guy back. We'll see. So +8 for me there. Last one, 8 o'clock, Lucas Oil Stadium, Big Ten championship game, Michigan-Purdue, under 52. I know Michigan just put 45 on Ohio State on the road. That's not what Michigan's done all season. I fell for it. Looked like Michigan may have been playing possum with their ability to take off the top of a defense, but Purdue's defense, fantastic at limiting explosive plays. I think this is going to be a real slugfest here. Michigan, bottom 20 in plays per minute. Blake Corum is going to be out for the rest of the season. I think they're going to go back to what they've been doing this entire season, where it's pounding the rock, slow, methodical drives. Purdue's going to bend, don't break. And on the other side, Michigan's defense is absolutely fantastic. So Purdue is a pass-centric offense. They pass at the top 15 rate in the entire country. If that's not cooking and Michigan shutting down the pass game, Purdue can't run the ball. So I think Purdue's going to go nowhere. This looks a lot like I said 27-13 on my show, The Early Read. Something, Michigan flirting with covering, 27-13, 31-13, something like that, I think makes a lot of sense. Under 52 for sure. Anything above 51 is a bet for me. So under 52 in the Big Ten championship game. And yeah, there's our bets. Let's get that recap graphic up, and then we'll talk some NFL. So for Donnavan tonight, he's taking the 76ers +5.5 against the Grizzlies, the Pelicans -7 against the Spurs, and either team in U.S. versus Netherlands tomorrow to win in extra time, +550. There's a juicy one for you. And then for myself, starting at noon tomorrow in the college football, Kansas State TCU under 61.5. At 4 o'clock, we're taking Coastal Carolina +8 against Troy. Hopefully Grayson McCall plays. And in the main event, Michigan Purdue under 52. Slugfest in the Big Ten. Let's talk some NFL now. Donnavan, we're going to have to go back here and talk about last week, because last week I said I thought it was Jordan Love time for the Green Bay Packers, and Jordan Love ended up getting in that game against your Philadelphia Eagles. Actually threw a 60-plus yard touchdown pass to Christian Watson. So I think I'm going to give him maybe not like a full win, but I think I'm on to something, because people were talking about during the week, like, is this over for Rodgers? He's got the thumb injury. He looked terrible, in my opinion. Donnavan, I'm forgetting, what was yours last week?
I honestly can't remember.
What did we say last week? I said the Rodgers thing, and let me go back to my notes. I should probably take these notes beforehand, but
yeah. Listen, on the Jordan Love thing, right? While you looked it up, I'll say this about Jordan Love. He had 2 good throws that I was like, okay, there's something there. He had a back shoulder fade to Aaron Jones that Jones ended up dropping. That was actually very solid. And then he had one where he threw the ball across his body back across the field to the tight end in the end zone. That was a good throw. Everything else was like, listen, you're supposed to make that throw. It's a very simple throw. And even the touchdown that he threw to Christian Watson, that play was made by Christian Watson's speed. I'm not giving Jordan Love credit on that. And you like that's 10 like net yards, 10 air yards that he actually threw. So
I think it's
I'll give you the win. But I'm not I'm not sitting here saying it's Jordan Love time definitively, you know.
Okay. I have your hot take. It was Bengals Chiefs AFC Championship rematch, which honestly goes in pretty well because they're playing again this weekend after the Bengals, of course, knock off the Titans in. It was kind of an ugly game, but listen, you got to win on the road. That worked for me. I was impressed there. Now they set up a rematch against the Chiefs, so I'll give it to you. I think people are onto the Bengals set. We'll see how they do this weekend. We have no bets on that, but I'm sure Sunday afternoon, Matt Verderame and Ian McMillan will have plenty to talk about there. So what is your hot take for this weekend, week 13 in the NFL?
I think that people are going to start talking about the New York Jets coming out of third place and winning the AFC East. They have a matchup with the Minnesota Vikings this week. I think a lot of people, they're 3-point underdogs. I think a lot of people wouldn't be shocked at all if the Vikings fell this week. Listen, the Vikings, we all know they're not as good as their record says that they are. And the Jets have a really good defense. They are 100% capable, especially if Mike White is dealing the way that he was last week. They're very capable of going to get a win. So you have the Jets being able to go get a win, and then you have the rest of their schedule, which is they have the important game against Buffalo next
Need to
week.
win that one. That's a must. That's
a must win. But then they finish the season with the Lions at home, with the Jaguars at home, and then they go on the road to Seattle and finish the year with Miami. So there's like 3 wins that they could 100% get, and they could finish the season off really, really strongly. Meanwhile, the Bills, they play the Jets next week. Then they play the Dolphins, and they play the Bengals to finish the season. So Buffalo's schedule, they have some hiccups that they can get, especially if New York wins this week. They're only going to be a game back. I think, especially if they win, we're going to start talking like, hey, down the last 5 weeks of the season, is Buffalo in trouble? And I think that they are a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it with Buffalo this year. There's something fishy there. I don't know. But I agree with you. The fact that Mike White, first of all, this just shows how bad Zach Wilson is.
Yes.
Mike White could come in a monsoon. And I know it's the Chicago Bears and they're not so good, but he made the Jets offense look fantastic. I mean, just the upgrade is so clear.
First drive, up and down the field.
Yeah, Zach Wilson, his time is done in New York, which is crazy in my opinion. But Mike White, credit to him. I think that the Jets definitely are live. I said this with Ian on the Tuesday show when we're talking early NFL leans. I think the Jets are very live to go into Minnesota and get a win. And then talking the rest of the season, I mean, they beat the Bills before, whether that is a bit fluky or not. I still think that the Jets.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the Jets. I wouldn't say that as like a walkover Bills victory, given the fact that the Jets defense remains a top 5 unit in the NFL, and now the offense, maybe they're not elite, but they're close to average now. So we'll see. And the Bills, Josh Allen, he's been prone to make his mistakes. So I completely agree there. Mine though, we were talking about the Browns-Texans game, and again, I don't know if I agree with this. This is just me predicting what they're talking about on like ESPN tomorrow on Monday. The schedule breaks away for the Browns where if and when they beat the Texans, I mean, they're minus 310 on the money line. So they're very, very likely to win. If they win, all of a sudden everyone's going to start talking about how the Browns are live to get that last AFC wild card spot. Just look at the rest of their schedule after this. So if they win this weekend, they're 5-7. They host Baltimore. It's a division game. I'm going to call that a coin flip, in my opinion. With Watson back, there's a chance that the Browns are going to be, maybe close to a field goal favorite, small favorite in that game. They play New Orleans at home, who, I mean, they're just going nowhere real fast. Yeah. They go to Washington. Washington's been very good, but I think that's close to a coin flip. I don't know if I trust Washington. And then they're at Pittsburgh, final game of the season. We'll see what kind of shape the Steelers are in there. Not an easy one by any means. I actually think that one's harder than the Washington one, but maybe Cleveland goes on a bit of a run here and finishes the season 9-7. Or not 9-7. Sorry, 10-7. I don't know if
a 6-game winning streak
against the playoffs, but I guarantee you, if Watson and the Browns look good this weekend, everyone's talking about how Cleveland's on a roll here, and you got to look out for them going into the postseason. I don't necessarily believe that, but I saw some crazy numbers on Cleveland make the playoffs, like 7-1, 8-1. I don't know. We'll see. What do you think?
A team coming from the 13th spot in the conference to rattle off 6 wins. I I don't know. And listen, we obviously
I think it obviously depends on Watson, though. This is a
yeah.
big. If Watson comes in though and he's
If he
good,
looks, but
that's what I'm saying. I think that
what
if
if he
they
looks
blow
like
out
Russell
Houston,
Wilson?
if they blow out Houston this weekend, everyone's going to be talking about like, wow, did you see Deshaun Watson? Even though they're playing the worst team in the league, like, did you see Deshaun Watson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I'm
honestly,
not sure.
now saying it out loud probably sets up like such an amazing spot to bet the Ravens next week. Like I'm already thinking about it. Like
Yeah,
I'm kind of
yeah,
hoping
I'm
the
not sure.
Browns win by like 30, and then Ravens get like +3 in Cleveland. They get to run all over them, and they win. Now I'm talking myself out of my hot take, but I bet you this is what they're talking about if they beat Houston.
There's a path to it. I'm very curious to see whatever happens, win or lose, how we're talking about the Browns and Deshaun Watson come Sunday. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think it's very fair to say that this is the hot take. So we'll write it down. We'll check back next week.
Okay, we will see. So now that's our hot takes. Let's talk game of the night because I spoke about some of the college football conference championships this weekend, but we got two tonight. We have UTSA North Texas in the Conference USA Championship. That's not our game of the night, though. Sorry to you Roadrunner fans out there. Good luck, though, tonight against the Mean Green. We're actually going to talk Pac-12 Championship. USC Utah rematching from their classic in Salt Lake City in October. Noted USC hater here. Bet Utah in that game. We won. Shout out Cam Rising, 2-point conversion. They meet again, though. USC, updated market, about -2.5, we'll call it. Total of 67 in Las Vegas, neutral field. To set the stage here, we got USC. They have the very, 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 very almost certainly Heisman Trophy winner in Caleb Williams. They are a win away from securing a spot in the college football playoff. If they lose, I personally think they are out. Whether that is right or wrong, not what we're going to talk about here, but we're talking about this game against Utah. USC has really hit another level, it seems like. I have not thought that they could keep it up, but I got to give credit. They have won every game in their way pretty much outside this Utah one. So, Donnavan, I'll start with you. Can they get the monkey off their back and get revenge on the only team that beat them this season?
I think that they can. Listen, they gave up 15 points in the fourth quarter in that first one, and that's not what would you. Excuse me. Wow, can't talk. That's clearly.
Listen, this is a big game, man. This could take your breath away.
I'm nervous from here. Here. No, but I think they can. I think Caleb Williams, and we saw Caleb Williams make some crazy throws in these last couple of games. I mean, this one where he's rolling left, jumps, and it's just on a dot. And I think that I think that they've really found their stride with him at quarterback. This entire offense is humming, but I think that they can get the win. However, my pick is actually kind of against that. I'm going with the under. 67.5. It's a lot for two teams that have already seen each other this year. It's a conference championship game. I think either USC's defense shows up and they start getting those turnovers, or Utah starts to kind of shut down and they get their second look at Caleb Williams. Again, they were able in the second half to hold them to one touchdown a quarter when it's a big deal when they were scoring 2 touchdowns a quarter in the first half. So you start to get kind of a little bit more confidence, and Utah's going to come into this game with a lot of swagger, knowing that they came back and beat USC the last time. So I think that the under is that's kind of the play to go this time around.
Yeah, shocker. I'm gonna back Utah here. I have a future on Utah from before the season, so this is basically I'm not hedging my 4-1 ticket. I'm just gonna let it ride. We'll see how it goes. I will say though, on the USC side of things, you made a great point that Utah's defense, second look at Caleb Williams, they had the most success against Caleb Williams, getting pressure on him. Listen, he's gonna get outside the pocket. He's gonna make crazy plays because he's fantastic. He's amazing. I'm not going to say he's not.
Yeah.
Utah got 19 pressures on Caleb Williams in that game. I wonder if you're going to see them finally get home and really put USC behind the sticks and get a few stops. He takes a lot of big sacks because he does run around in the pocket, in the backfield, and try to make plays. Sometimes he gets himself into trouble. A lot of teams haven't been able to close out sacks against Caleb Williams, tackles for loss against Caleb Williams. Can Utah do that? Because they beat that offensive line throughout the game Williams just made a few crazy plays. Ultimately, it wasn't enough to win. So we'll see. I think that we're seeing this USC team get maybe the craziest turnover margin of all time. It's on social. I wrote someone out. They are plus 22 in turnover margin. Again, the next best team in terms of turnover margin is plus 8 behind them, and that's Duke. The difference between Duke and USC is the same between Duke and the 29th best team in the entire country. I mean, when is it going to come? When is it going to happen where USC is like -3 in terms of turnover margin? Because it's got to come sooner or later. And I know I faded USC all year. I'm going to look stupid when USC rolls over Utah tonight anyway. Guess who's fading USC in the college football playoff if they're the 3 or the 4 seed? This guy. This guy's fading them again because I can't buy it. And I mean, you look at this match specifically. Utah, Cam Rising was fantastic in the first game. It was really great finding tight end Dalton Kincaid, who had 16 catches for over 200 yards. But it's the USC run defense that really makes me nervous about this one. Bottom 10 in the country in rush success rate. So if Utah's going to be able to move those chains consistently, neither team plays fast. It's going to be limited possessions. High total of 67, like you said. Give me 3. Give me the field goal. I know it's dropped down inside 2.5, but you want to buy it up to 3? Sure. I think that was a fair number, but at this point, just take the money line. Again, high total. So you're going to see some variance here. Larry Pilgrim chimes in the chat. What's up, Larry? Utah's defense since the second half against USC has been lights out. Yeah, it has. We'll see if, is there going to be a letdown effect for this USC team that has now played, that UCLA thriller 2 weeks ago, exactly. 48-45, needed another turnover to win the game late. Notre Dame, they allowed, I got to pull it up as I'm talking. I'll filibuster break. Notre Dame was able to move the ball in that one against USC. A few untimely turnovers did them in. Let's see how fast I can pull up the box score from last week. But Notre Dame, I mean, they scored 27 points. They also averaged nearly 8 yards per play on USC. And I'm telling you right now, this Utah defense is significantly better, or Utah offense is significantly better than Notre Dame. So we'll see if Utah could make it happen tonight. I'll take the money line. I'm not hedging my ticket. Hopefully we'll get there, and we'll see what happens. But the community, we're going to get up their best bet for the USC-Utah Pac-12 championship game. Again, USC's laying about 2.5, we'll call it, total of 67. I am on Utah money line. Donnavan is on the under 67. The community's going up against me. Bring it on. They got USC -2.5. I don't buy it. They're going down. No playoff this year for Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. We'll see, though. We'll see how it goes tonight. That's Donnavan Smoot. I'm Reed Wallach. You can check out all of our BetSided content on this great YouTube page. While you're here, why not subscribe? Check out the early read for all my conference championship plays. You can come back on Sunday and check out Matt Verderame and Ian McMillan breaking down the whole NFL slate. And like I said, that's Donnavan Smoot. I'm Reed Wallach. Big shout out to JJ behind the scenes, pushing the buttons. And we will see you all next week. Have a profitable sports betting weekend.